Hey guys, what's up? It's Cole, and today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about how I knew I was trans. Kind of in the way that how you might know if you're trans or not. I know that when I first started thinking that I was trans, the first thing that I did was search a ton of YouTube videos, blogs, and I tried to see how other people came to the conclusion that they were trans. It's very important to remember that, if you're questioning whether you're transgender, it does not mean that you're MTF or that you're FTM. You can fall anywhere on that spectrum, or you can fall nowhere on that spectrum, and that's perfectly fine too. This is just a video that will adapt to, whether you think that you might be MTF or FTM or non-binary or transmasc. This is something to just use as a tool to maybe start some questioning and start some conversation with yourself about who you are. So I've narrowed it down to 5 reasons. Obviously there are many more. There are probably some very important ones that I left off, but these are just the 5 that I can think of that answered my question, that I knew the answers of these questions meant that I was transgender FTM. So thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe before you leave, and let's get to the video. Alright, so the first thing for me, and for a lot of transgender people, that we noticed that might have been a sign early on is that we were questioning. That's right. If you're here watching this video, you are probably at least a little curious about your gender identity. You're probably a little bit already questioning. There's one thing that I know from my experiences talking to cisgendered people and other transgender people, is that all of us transgender people have one thing in common, and that's that we grew up questioning what we liked, what we didn't like, what we were supposed to like, didn't feel comfortable liking the things that we were liking because society told us to like something else. We were all questioning. Whereas people like my wife who are cisgendered, or my family that is cisgendered, or my friends that are cisgendered, they never had that questioning moment in their life about their gender. They always felt comfortable in their own bodies. Maybe they questioned their sexualities, but gender and sexuality are not the same thing. So they were always comfortable with who they were and living in their own bodies, and never looked in the mirror, and said, this isn't me, that's not who I am, that's not who I feel like I am. So if you're questioning, that might be a big sign. Not that you're, FTM or MTF like I already said, but maybe you're somewhere on that spectrum, maybe you're nowhere on that spectrum, but you have to figure out where you lie on that spectrum. Reason 2, comfort. Now comfort is comfortable, I'm comfortable in my clothes. I didn't used to be comfortable in the clothes that I felt like I needed to wear. In my most comfortable times growing up, you would find me at home in basketball shorts and a t-shirt, no binding, no support, just hanging out, tennis shoes, hair pulled up, trying to hide it with a hat. That was me. That was where I was in my comfort zone. And my comfort zone was not stereotypical female comfort zone. My comfort zone was also playing sports and hanging out with guys and riding 4-wheelers and hunting and doing stereotypical men things, not saying that we need to fit in those stereotypes. Those stereotypes are bullshit in the first place. But with that being said, that was just something I was never comfortable doing the things that other girls my age were doing. I had rather been out doing what the other guys in my class were doing. That was where I was comfortable. I was comfortable in my circle of men. Oh gosh. I was comfortable in my circle of friends who happened to be male. So comfort, where are you most comfortable? Where do you find the most comfort with yourself? Is it when you're dressed up with makeup on? Is it when you're in basketball shorts and hanging out and playing video games? Where is your happiness? Number 3, social acceptance. So I remember always being happy when people would misgender me when I identified as female, when people would call me sir, when people would say he. I never had a problem with it. I never corrected it. It made me feel good. And that, looking back, ding ding ding, would have been a huge sign for me, but I didn't have the verbiage to even know what transgender was. And luckily, for younger trans youth, there's so many resources and there's so much out there and so many YouTubers that you can watch and you can grow up with, and they can tell you this worked for me and this didn't work, and it's great. Obviously, as a trans community, we have a long way to go, but social acceptance, where are you most comfortable? Are you just kind of like, it kind of goes in with the comfort. Where are you most comfortable? Are you comfortable in a dress? Are you comfortable in a tux? Are you comfortable with guy friends or girlfriends or both or none? Or, are you doing your own thing? Like, where do you fall out in the social pyramid? Where makes you happiest, and where do you want to be? I mean, some people don't want to be on the social pyramid because people suck, and that's cool. But for me, I remember being a tomboy and being with the guys and doing things that were stereotypically male socially in public made me feel free. It made me feel like I was a guy, and that's deep down inside what I found, where I found happiness. So, your social acceptance, where do you land socially? Who do you want to associate yourselves with? What kind of group do you want to have? Social. So number 4, 4 is a little bit different, but this one was actually really important as I look back on my pre-transition, my pre-coming out, when I was questioning myself, and I look back at my childhood and I try to pick out these flags that might have alerted me had anybody ever taught me what being transgendered was, or anything of the sort. Fantasizing. So for me, I used to always fantasize that one day I would grow up to be a dad, and that I would grow up to be a husband, and that I would have a beautiful wife and beautiful children. Side note, I have a beautiful wife, and I have beautiful fur children. I'm working on the beautiful children. I always fantasized that life for myself, that I would have all of those things, and I never once grasped the concept that I was growing up as a little girl. And I remember my family would tell me, like, no, you grow up to be a mom, and I'm like, no, I don't. I do not want to be a mother. I want to be a father. I used to always fantasize, any fantasies that I'd have in my life about, like, how I was going to look. Like, I was going to have 6-pack abs, and I was going to have huge biceps, and these things that, like, when your body's full of estrogen, you just usually don't have. And not looking decent with it, usually. But those were my fantasies. If I ever had fantasies about people, it was, I was always the masculine person in those. Number 5 is discomfort. So earlier in the video, we talked about the things that made you comfortable. Now we're going to talk about the things that made us uncomfortable. I hated my chest. Even in my girliest of girl preteen days, I hated my chest. I wanted nothing to do with it. I wanted it hid. I wanted it strapped down. It made me so uncomfortable. It made me so unhappy. As did going places where I had to wear a dress because we had to dress up and that's what you did. Or going places where you had to wear a ton of makeup. Or being in the girls' locker room made me uncomfortable. Like, discomfort is a sign that you're not where you should be, or that you're not safe where you should be. Either way, if you're experiencing discomfort with your gender and where your gender leads you, so women's bathrooms, men's bathrooms, men's clothes, women's clothes, wherever, that might be a sign that you need to look at yourself and find out where you are most comfortable, because that discomfort, it's not normal. Okay, guys, so those were my 5 main flags that set me off, that my gender identity was not cis, and that my body did not match where I was on the gender spectrum. And that's okay. Obviously, everybody has their own path to identifying themselves and to figuring out who they are. If you are questioning, there are plenty of resources. There are support groups online. You can find it at LGBTQ friendly, doctor's office, counselor, and talk your way through it. If you feel safe to talk to your family, talk to your family. I know that not everybody has that option. I certainly didn't feel like I had that option, but I did have my wife to talk to. So you know, if you have a friend or a significant other that you think it's safe to have those discussions with, start having the discussion. Try things out. If you're a man, you know, if you're if you're born male, and you feel like that's not who you are, hang out at home in a dress, or put some makeup on, or wear feminine clothing, you know, feminize yourself, or do what makes you comfortable that no one else can see. You know, live as how you feel comfortable, and see how that makes you feel. Like, I mean, if you find happiness, then you find happiness, and welcome to the trans family, man. But, you know, for all of us, it's just, everybody has their own journey. It's very important that you start discussing those and experimenting with those, because I'll tell you one thing, I watch 18-year-olds, 16-year-olds starting T and starting their transition. I didn't start transitioning until I was 26 years old. I didn't come out of the closet until I was 26 years old, and I had known almost my whole adult life. So if I have one regret, it's that I suppressed these feelings and these doubts that I had with myself. So please, if you're questioning yourself, get out there, make friends, meet some trans people, live life, you know, as who you think you are. And it doesn't matter what everybody else says. Do it in a safe environment. Please don't get hurt. We have a long way to go in society, but, you know, we'll get there. Also, once again, guys, thank you so much for watching my video. Once again, just make sure you hit the like button and subscribe. I'm going to try to be posting new videos every week. Yeah, that's it. Also, 7 months on T, quick update. I'm working on a full chin strap. My acne still sucks. My face is no longer oily. My voice continues to drop. That's about it. You guys have a good one.